Here's some things that you could practice this summer. Skip counting. So just verbally, you could count to yourself. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, all the way up to 70, and then try going back down. 70, 63, 56, 49, 42, 35, 28, 21, 14, da da da. Try that for each. So that's a good thing to try and practice. Try doing some doubling every day in your head. Go as far as you can in your head. So 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 5, 12, 10, 24, 2048, 4096, 8,192, 16,384, let's see, 32,600 plus 168, 768, and then what would this be? 65,045, I guess. Right, 1,400 plus 136, would that be 536? Okay, let's try it with 3. So 3, 6, 12. So you see you're doubling every time. 48. Let's say you're not sure how to double. So the 48, for example, think of 40 as 40 plus 8. So we double it and we get 8016, otherwise known as 96. So if you're tired of practicing your times tables, just use this distributive property. So for example, 24 times 7, think of that as 20 plus 4 times 7. So 7 times 20, 140, plus 28, 168. If you get good at this, see if you can do it the other way around. So instead of thinking as 20 plus 4, think of it as 30 minus 6. So 30 minus 6 times 7 would be 30 times 7, 210, minus 42. So minus 42 minus 40 would be 170, 2 more, 168. This is particularly useful if you have something like multiplying by 49. 49 times 7 comes up when you're cubing. So we think of that as 50 minus 1 times 7. So that would be 350 minus 1 times 7. 7 equals 343. So the difference of squares method, if you go up and down 1, so for example, if I do 10 plus 1 and 10 minus 1, 11 times 9 equals 99. It's 1 less, it equals 100. Minus 1, if I go 2 away, 10 plus 2, 10 minus 2, that ends up being 12 times 8, 96, which is 100, take away 4. So we can use this to multiply any square. As you move away, you reduce it. And so you always try to get to a friendly number, so a number that's a multiple of 10. So let's do, for example, 34 squared. So 34 squared equals 34 times 34, but we want to make it easy, so we do it as 34 plus 4, 38, 34 minus 4, 30, but we're going to go down 4 times 4, it'll be 16 smaller. So 38 times 30 plus 16, well, what would that be? Well, 30 times 30, split it up like we did distributive properly, we get 900. 30 times 8, 240, plus 16, add it together, we get 900, 1140, plus 16, 1156. Okay, so when we go from one square to the next, so if this is 400, the next square is going to be 20 plus 1 more, so it'll be 400 plus 41, 441. The next square after that, well, it'll be 21 plus 1, it'll be 43 more, but as you see, the hops are just the odd numbers in succession. So 41, the next one's 43, so this will be 484. The next one will be 22 plus 1, 45, so this will be plus 45. Think of the complement, 16, and what's left, 29, so that would, next one should be 529, is that right? Yeah. Okay, next one would be plus 47. So this is a good way to do this. That'd be 576, 49, 625. Okay, so the pivot is just 4 times this number. Well, why is that? So from 4 times 4, the next one is 4 plus 4 plus 1. And from 5 times 5, the next one is 5 plus 5 plus 1. But if you look at that, you end up with 1 5, 2 5s. This one goes with this to make a 5. And so you end up with 4 5s. So the square before 4 times 4 to the square after 5 times 5, 6 times 6, they're 20 apart. And then that pattern repeats itself. The ones that are 2 away from 5 times 5 are 40 apart, 60 apart. So using this, so we have if we have 10 times 10, then 4 times 10 is going to be the pivot. So remember 9 plus 9 plus 1, 10 plus 10 plus 1. So from 81, you need 19 to get to 100. From 100, you need 21 to get 121. But that means that if you look at it, that there are 4 tens apart. Remember, we add the 1s to the 9. So we have 4 tens apart. So are they 40 apart? Yes, indeed. So this equals 81 plus 40. So if you look at so 64 should be 40 plus 40 away, 80 away. So we have 64 plus 80 equals 144. The next ones are 120 apart. So 49 is 120 apart from 13 times 13, 169. So this is a good thing to fill out. Pick any pivot and try and do 10 on one side, right? So when I think about it, so this is 160, 200, right? So 25 is 200 away from 225, 200, 240, 280, 320, 360, 400. So I have 1, this must be 361, 4, this must be 324, 9, this must be 289, 16, 240, 256. Okay, so practice these with any section you like. So we want to get to where we can fill out this square in many ways. And at first when you start, you say, well, I can do the easy ones, right? 100, 200, 900, 1600, 2500 are real easy. And then these, if you use difference of squares, so 15 times 15 is just 20 times 10 plus 25, 225. 25 times 25 is 30 times 20, right, plus 5 plus 25, so it would be 625. 35 times it would be 40 times 30 plus 25, 1225. Okay, so then look at the ones. Well, it's real easy to get from this. So if I do 10 plus 1, it'll be 21 more. So this is 121. This will be 20 plus 20 plus 1 to get to the next one. So it'll be 441. This one will be 30 plus 30 plus 1, 961. This will be 40 plus 40 plus 1. So it'll be 81 more than the previous. Okay, and then you could just go on. So if this was plus 41, this would be plus 43, so 44, plus 45, 529, and fill in that way. Okay. Of course, you can do difference of squares, so let's try and do difference of squares for 62 times 62. So we say, well, that would be 64 times 60 plus 4. So 60 times 60 is 3600. Plus 60 times 4 is 240. So that would be 3840, but we're 2 away, so it should be 3844. Let's try for 63 times 63. So it'd be 66 times 60. Okay, so that'd be 3600 plus 360. So that should be 3960 plus 9. So it should be 3969. And then you might check, you say, well, let's see if that makes sense going up. So 3600, so the next one would be 60 plus 1, 121 more. So that'd be 3721. And so it's the next one, 123 more, yes. And the next one, 125 more, yes. Okay. And so you want to start looking for those patterns that you find between numbers. And so let's look, for example, 2500. So this is 2601. So how big a hop is that? that looks like it's 1,000, 1,120, 1,120, right? And what's this one going to be? So 70. So if this is 4,900, this would be 141 more. So it would be 5141. Wow, how big is that hop? It looks like it is 1,420. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? So are these hops 300 apart? Well, let's look at the next one. So if this is 6,400, then the next one's 161 more, right? So that would be 6561. Well, how far apart are they? Well, you're almost tempted to say, well, is that 1,720 more? And when we look at it, it doesn't appear to be 1,420. It looks to be 21. No, it doesn't look to be that. It looks to be 1,400. So I see I made a mistake here. So it's actually, this one is 5041. And now I see that pattern right, 1120. So then this is 1320 apart. And the next one, so that it's 200 more, the next one's going to be 1520 apart. So 5041 to 6561. And the last one then we think might be 1720 apart. Let's see if that's true. So we have 8100. And the next one's going to be 191 more, so that'd be 8291. 8290, is it 91? 81, 82, 81. And that's indeed what we see. So there's 61 to 81, 21 more, 1720. So there's many patterns, and as people get better, they'd see all these patterns.